the bigger problem at this point is beyond Les Moonves. It's a board problem. As a practical matter, I mean, rumors of this have been around for months. When you put it in context of the Charlie Rose incidents, all the reporting around the CBS News division that had come out, again, months ago, the fact that the board hadn't already been investigating this matter is not stunning, I guess, but disappointing, certainly. And, you know, when you put it in context of CBS, which is not exactly a company known for diversity at the top of the company, it's really problematic.
So, Brian, what do you think the board should be doing right now?
Well, I mean, the board should be investigating its own actions as to why it didn't start exploring these matters earlier, but put that aside. Yeah, I mean, obviously they should be, I mean, Moonves should be taking the choice to step aside himself.
It's
hard to say whether or not, absolutely. I think it's unquestionable. He has, it's a real commercial problem.
Well, can we speak about that commercial problem? Thus far, at least I have not heard, though maybe you have, I haven't heard of any advertisers or CMOs of big companies say, you know what, we're not doing business with CBS. I haven't heard yet of a director or an actor or actress saying they're not doing business with CBS. Is that something that you're hearing?
No. Well, actually, there has been, there was one article yesterday, certainly with a senior buyer talking about an assumption that it won't be a problem because he'll step aside. So I think the assumption is that he will. I think that if it persisted, it's hard to imagine him presiding over next year's upfront presentation, for example. The commercial consequences, and it would be hard not for an investor not to question this, is there will be talent who will have chosen not to work with CBS if they have a culture of impunity. It's not very tangible. It's not like we could see it necessarily as investors, but you know it's there. And if you're a board member and you're looking out for the commercial health of the company, I mean, I guess you could make a choice to say, well, Les has great choices with programming. Even if not every advertiser is working with us, enough of them are, and it's fine. It's just really hard to imagine them persisting with that. I suppose it's possible.
Right. Brian,
but there are commercial consequences.
Brian, Jim Stewart has a new piece up on NY Times that I think has gone up literally in the past hour. It's a fascinating piece, effectively saying, how is it possible that Les Moonves, and more importantly, the board of CBS, effectively sued and pursued that lawsuit against the Redstones at a time when they knew that the Ronan Farrow piece was being investigated without pursuing their own investigation?
Exactly my point. And I'm saying this goes beyond movies at this point in time. And it's one of those things where how could an investor have confidence in the board if the board wasn't investigating this?
Okay, if they were, let me ask you a very crass commercial question then, Brian, though. As an investor today, given the drop in the company's stock, given the drop in the, and just from a pure valuation perspective, do you say to yourself, actually, maybe this looks like a great investment? Maybe I can buy a little bit of this thing on the cheap?
Well, you know, it's reasonably fairly valued, but the problem now is that if this board has less credibility going into what they're about to go into with respect to the national amusement situation and a Viacom merger, the odds are that they're going into it in a less favorable position. So we don't know what those terms will look like. We don't know how and when exactly a combination will occur, but to the extent that they could have been going into this situation, which always seemed likely, they could have gone into it in a stronger position. Unfortunately, the board failed investors by not taking some sort of action earlier.